Chloe, come here. You need to drop what you're doing and listen to this. The story my friend Minju just told me, it's not just a messy drama. It's a long, bizarre story about how one person's loneliness and selfishness can swallow up so many lives. She said after you hear the ending, you might even start to question the word love itself. The main character is a guy named Do-Yun Kim. He runs a small workshop in a provincial city, a totally normal, hardworking guy, but super shy and awkward around people. He was almost 40 and still single. No parents, no siblings. He'd spend every holiday alone in his empty house. His only dream in life was to have a family to come home to, a wife to greet him, a kid to run up and call him dad. So one lonely night, he gets up the courage to download a dating app. And just like that, like fate, he meets a woman named Se-hyun Choi. She told him she was divorced. She laughed at all his clumsy jokes and seemed to genuinely understand him. They lived close by, so they met that weekend. In person, she was even more beautiful, and he saw this deep loneliness in her eyes that mirrored his own. They fell for each other instantly. Do-Yun's empty life suddenly felt completely full, all because of this one woman. She was the perfect girlfriend. She'd hang out at his workshop quietly, reading a book while he worked. She organized his messy apartment. It felt so real. And then one day, she tells him, "You know, I couldn't have children in my last marriage. That's why we divorced. My lifelong dream was to be a mother. I guess it's too late now." He was actually happy to hear that. He thought they shared the same dream. He held her hand and said, "Don't worry, you have me now. I know a beautiful baby will find its way to us." And a little while later, she comes to him, her voice trembling, and hands him a pregnancy test, 2 bright pink lines. Chloe, he just collapsed on the floor and cried his eyes out. He thought his dream, his one true wish, was finally coming true. He cradled her belly and swore, "I will take care of you and our baby for the rest of my life." Without a single doubt, he had her quit her job and started sending her 1,000,000 won, like $800, every single month for child support. For 6 years. The audacity, right? But Chloe, the story really starts here. She wasn't divorced. She had a husband and 2 kids. Her marriage was just empty. Her husband worked far away, they were a weekend couple, and she was lonely. She went on the app to cure that loneliness. When she felt Do-Yun's pure, desperate love, she couldn't let it go. And when she heard his desperate wish for a child, a monstrous plan formed in her head. To keep this man by my side forever, all I have to do is give him the child he wants. Her plan was insane. As the fictional due date approached, she went to her real husband and said, "Honey, our kids are older now. Why don't we adopt a poor newborn baby and raise it with love? It's a good deed." The unsuspecting husband eventually agreed, and she took that adopted baby to Do-Yun. She told him, "Look, our son, he looks just like you." Do-Yun, blinded by joy, registered the baby as his own son on his family registry. The beginning of a tragic double life. Can you even imagine it? During the week, she was a mother of 3 living with her husband. On Friday nights, she'd pack a bag for the adopted baby, leave the house pretending to be a weekend working mom, and drive to Do-Yun's place. There, she became a loving partner and the mother of their newborn son. 2 houses, 2 sets of family photos, 2 different names for her in 2 men's phones. And this unbelievable double life went on for 6 years. The lie started to unravel when the child turned 7. It was time for school, but Sehun never mentioned receiving the enrollment notice. When Do-yeon asked, "Shouldn't our son be starting school?" she'd brush it off. "Oh, it's all online now. I took care of it." But then a few months later, an official from the local education office showed up at his workshop. "Mr. Kim, your son Minjun Kim is a registered student but has not been enrolled. We're here to check on him." That's when the alarm bells started screaming in his head. He tried to stay calm, but when he called her, she was too calm. "Oh, silly me, I forgot. I'll handle it today." Her casualness was more suspicious than any lie. That night, he did something he never imagined. He called a private investigator. I need a DNA test for my son." He told himself he was being crazy, that he was wrong, as he drove to the testing center with the boy's toothbrush in his glove compartment. The day the results came back, he sat in the counseling room, biting his nails to the quick. The counselor handed him the envelope. He opened it. One line. Probability of paternity, 0%. That single piece of paper demolished the world he had spent 7 years building. The woman he loved, the mother of his child, his happy family, it was all a mirage of lies and betrayal. Calmly explaining the aftermath, that night he went home and just threw the results on the table in front of her. He said for the first time in his life, he felt like a monster watching her face turn white. After her confession, he sued her for fraud for the nearly $70,000 he had sent her over 6 years. The court found her guilty, but because she had actually used the money for the child and not on luxuries, she got a suspended sentence. 1 year in prison, 2 years probation. It's ridiculous, right? And the child? That's the most heartbreaking part of all this. Legally, Do-yeon was a stranger to him, but he couldn't just abandon the boy he'd raised as his own for 6 years. So he went through a long, painful legal process to officially adopt the boy, to become the real father to the child of the lie. Her original husband, he divorced her, but he's still raising his 2 children, including the one that isn't his. So in the end, you have these 2 men left to clean up the mess of her lies. It really makes you wonder, what is love? What is family? It's a story that's so bitter and, in a way, so incredibly sad.